Most turn-of-the-century immigrants settled in America's big cities. The immigrants needed jobs. The cities were growing fast and offered the best chances to find work. By 1910, 3 out of 4 people in New York City were immigrants and the children of immigrants. The same thing was true in Boston, Cleveland, Chicago, and Detroit. Many immigrants could not speak English when they arrived. They knew little about American laws and customs. And so they clustered together, living in ethnic neighborhoods where they could mingle with their countrymen and speak their native languages. Almost every major city had its German and Irish neighborhoods, its Polish, Italian, Jewish, and Greek districts. People from the same village in Europe might wind up living as neighbors on the same street in America. In most cities, immigrants moved into old, run-down neighborhoods. As newcomers struggling to gain a foothold in America, they occupied the poorest and most congested districts. New York City absorbed more immigrants than any other city. Manhattan's Lower East Side, where so many immigrants settled, became one of the most densely populated places on Earth. A walk through a crowded immigrant neighborhood was like a visit to the old country. The streets were noisy open-air markets. Pushcarts lined the pavements, offering fruit, vegetables, poultry, fish, eggs, soda water, and anything else you could think of. Old coats for 50 cents, eyeglasses for 35 cents, hats for a quarter, ribbons for a penny. Peddlers hawked their wares in a dozen different dialects. Women wearing kerchiefs and shawls haggled for the best prices. Everyone except the kids seemed to be speaking a foreign language. Looking down upon these streets were the brick tenement buildings where millions of immigrants began their lives in America. Tenements were jammed with immigrants living in small, cramped apartments. Families used a small makeshift room for cooking and eating, and as a bedroom for the kids. The parents slept in a tiny bedroom to the rear. A more prosperous family might have 3 rooms, a parlor or living room, a kitchen, and a dark, windowless bedroom in between. The parlor often doubled as an extra bedroom, while the kitchen became the family's social center. In all tenements, the toilet or water closet was outside the apartment in the hallway of the building. It was used by at least 2 families. In older tenements, the individual apartments had no running water. Tenants fetched their water from a community faucet in the hallway on each floor. And yet many immigrants had grown up in the old country carrying water from a well. To them, an inside faucet with running water seemed wonderful. Leonard Covello has described his family's first American home and his mother's reaction to running water in the hallway. Our first home in America was a tenement flat near the East River at 112th Street. The sunlight and fresh air of our mountain home in Lucania, southern Italy, were replaced by 4 walls and people over and under and on all sides of us, until it seemed that humanity from all corners of the world had congregated in this section of New York City. The cobbled streets, the endless monotonous rows of tenement buildings that shut out the sky, the clanging of bells and the screeching of sirens as a fire broke out somewhere in the neighborhood, dank hallways, long flights of wooden stairs and the toilet in the hall, and the water, which to my mother was one of the great wonders of America, water with just the twist of a handle and only a few paces from the kitchen. It took her a long time to get used to this luxury. It was Carmelo Accurso who made ready the tenement flat and arranged the welcoming party with relatives and friends to greet us upon our arrival. During this celebration, my mother sat dazed, unable to realize that at last the torment of the trip was over, and that here was America. It was Mrs. Accurso who put her arm comfortingly about my mother's shoulder and led her away from the party and into the hall and showed her the water faucet. "Courage. You will get used to it here. See? Isn't it wonderful how the water comes out?" Through her tears, my mother managed to smile.